Welcome, everybody, to Andromeda 7 Portal. Hi, ladies. Thank you for joining. I want to stop and just let everyone know that I'm just clearing the air and clearing the internet and all the electronics and all the energies with a little bit of sweetgrass today. And I want to personally thank everyone who is in the chat. Hi. Hey, Brenda. And let's see, we got Barry Chad, Michelle Cannon-Free, and I am Crystal McArthur. So we want to give you a warm welcome. Thank you guys for coming today. Today we're going to talk about the Oversoul and spirituality. But first we're going to speak with Johan, Johan the Dancing Gypsy. I love that name, Johan. So, I wanted to, we'll get to the good stuff here in a little bit, but first I want to give you the floor and ask you some questions to, so everybody gets a chance to get to know you a little more, because I know I'm in love. So I want everyone to get a chance to get to know you. We all are. Yeah. All right. So let me just ask you a couple of questions. What point in your life was it? I know me and you've talked personally, but where do you think the most pivotal moment of your awakening has been, or has there been a few times where it's like, whoa, I've arrived?
As far as the most pivotal, had to be the Kundalini awakening. That was the most, because it had everything to do with not just the spirituality or the consciousness, but including the physical symptoms, which were pretty intense. And so that's when I knew I've arrived. I knew that this is what I have been working, or that this was the point in my journey where everything I have gone through, my other waking moments, which a lot of them are really funny, that was the pivotal moment. Absolutely.
Oh, wow. That is absolutely awesome. I've gone through quite a few Kundalini experiences. And the first couple of times it was like, what is happening to me? So I looked to my spiritual community to kind of guide me through what was happening inside my own body, because it's like this threefold thing. You've got your spirit, your mind, your physical flesh, and the light bodies, and everything that, like an onion, we're like made in layers. And when you start experiencing that, your spirituality just blows your perception open to, it just blows you away.
Like a flower.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. It is. For me, it's like lightning strikes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So tell me about your trip. Tell us about the trip you're about to take.
Okay. So, I'm planning a trip to Egypt. I'm really excited about it. I've always been fascinated with Egypt, as have a lot of people. I mean, who isn't?
Oh, yeah.
And so it's right. So it's with everything that it seems like I've come more through the years of the YouTube channels and discovering, just how important it is to a lot of us for our learning and our growth. So I'm really excited. It's my birthday on the 27th of November, and yay. I will, if all goes well, I've got my tickets. If all goes well, I will be in Egypt on the 27th on my birthday, and I'm excited. I'm going to go up to Kamumbo, where the Temple of Horus and Sobek are. So,
my goodness!
Super excited!
I'm so happy for you. I wish I could go. Can you put me in the luggage or something? Can I go away somewhere? I want to go.
What a profound spiritual journey you're about to take for your birthday. I mean, that is one of the most, this is going to be one heck of a birthday for you, hon.
Right.
To return to incredible. Maybe past life memory or some sort of soul connection might occur there for you. I have a feeling it just might,
Yeah. Touch things that you're drawn to. Literally touch them and see what you see when you touch things.
Yeah. That's exciting.
I already asked. Yeah, I asked that question and I said, am I going to be able to touch, like if you go inside a temple, you don't know if how museums are like, don't touch stuff and everything's roped off. Am I going to be able to touch the walls? Am I going to be able to put my hands on it? And, and he said, yes. So I'm really excited. We'll see if that's true or not. So we'll find out.
Yeah, well, some you can, some you can't, I think is how it goes. So you will be able to touch certain things, and that's how I unlocked, was touching different stones and different railings, and it's just the touch thing unlocked a lot of memories for me when I traveled to Greece. So I hope you have the same experience, because
the energy levels there are so high. All you have to do is just close your eyes and think about Egypt, and all of a sudden you'll start feeling all these energies. That's what people say. I'd like to experience it.
Yeah. I mean, Egyptians must visit Egypt, absolutely. I said gypsies must visit Egypt.
Absolutely,
That stuff runs deep in our DNA and our blood,
Right.
Well, I have a question for you, hun. Have you experienced I don't want to say resistance from people or have you ever felt misunderstood because of your spiritual path and how you're presenting that in your life?
Of course, yeah. And I remember being one of those people when I was a very little girl. I had a little friend, and I knew that she was deeply spiritually connected. She was born with it, and I remembered thinking she was a little odd, but I liked it, but it scared me because I think we're all innately have this in us. We just have to unlock it. And so, yeah, I think I've always been seen as being a little, I can be absent-minded and kind of dizzy and at times, but I think my fascination with being the planet Earth, with water, with bugs, with animals, with trees, with the design of things. And not you as a kid, you find some kids that are like that, but a lot of times, people are just like, oh, you're going to go catch the lizard? And it's like, yeah. Don't you want to catch the lizard?
Don't you pet your insects? Don't you pet them? Or you're able to pet them?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
We used to hang the lizards in Florida on our earlobes and stuff. They just clamp down and wear lizard earrings.
Oh,
no way.
Yeah. Yeah, my kids love doing that. They'd come up, look, Mom, I got lizards for earrings,
Oh, cute.
So do you connect with animals and insects? So you basically tap into your entire environment of living on Mother Gaia, don't you?
I do, and I think a couple of times the most fascinating times was when wild birds actually came to me. I didn't even think about that one until right now, because I have so many experiences, but that's another one that was another waking moment. That was after my Kundalini. So I think that the Kundalini had something to do with it, because I think that it just kind of opened that doorway even more for the birds to kind of maybe feel drawn to me, and whatever messages they were bringing me. It's a wonderful experience, and I hope it happens again. It's happened twice.
So have you ever,
I remember you videotaped it.
Yeah, I videotaped it.
Sorry, Crystal.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. That's awesome. And I have a question for you. Because of those processes, how do you deal with people who might put a label of that's like evil or satanic? What would you say to them about that, about the Kundalini, the natural, spiritual process within you? Have you ever heard of that?
I have actually. And I'll tell you what, when I had my Kundalini awakening, it was like a full-blown Kundalini awakening. You hear about people that happening to people, and I didn't know what a Kundalini was. So I had to find out what was happening to me, and that's how I learned about the Kundalini. Yeah. So
I don't know what that is.
I'm sorry. Can you just give a brief explanation? Because I don't even know what that is.
Kundalini.
I'm learning. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm learning too.
Okay.
And so and I'm guilty of not studying or learning more. I buy some books and then I don't read them. I'm really bad about that. But I'll watch some YouTube channels. And you can look it up on YouTube. And there's some people from the Hindu, especially the chakras, which I knew nothing of. And I learned about all that after my Kundalini experience. From what I understand, there are a lot of people who will spend their entire lives meditating and doing everything to have a Kundalini awakening, and sometimes never reach that. And then there's gurus out there who tell you, if you come to me, that they can help you have a Kundalini awakening. My Kundalini awakening just came on all of a sudden. I didn't know what was going on. And I'd heard the word Kundalini mentioned in chats before, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't look it up. I had never researched it.
Oh, excuse me, Johan. I'm sorry, hon. I was just going to hop in and see if Trina could explain that to us a little more in depth.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So Kundalini is basically the serpent energy. It's divine feminine and masculine. So it's the serpent on the pole, which this is really kind of a powerful time to talk about this because we're getting ready to go into Ophiuchius. And that is the serpent. It's the serpent on the pole. This is where we get the medical, the caduceus. So you see the pole with the serpent and then the wings on the top.
Yeah, right.
And what this basically is, it's the energy of your chakra centers spiraling and weaving the energy up the autonomic nervous system, which is the spine, activating the pineal gland, and it causes a chemical reaction which produces what they would call the anointing, and you literally your inner eye is open and you're having a chemical vibrational resonance to literally open up the third eye and have profound chemicals releasing through your body simultaneously. So that's just a basic rundown. So it's a natural process, and you can stimulate it many ways. And a lot of people now are learning about the sexual part of this energy, because you produce what is called the Christos every 30 days when your sun sign is in the sun of that day of the month. So everybody has the sun in their sign one day out of the month. So when your sun is in your sign, you produce this, what they call the golden oil. It's, it's the lamp, the oil in the lamp. It's the candlestick. It's got a lot of different layers of analogy to it, but it's the oil that you produce once a month. And if you don't expel it sexually, you can literally bring like an orgasmic kind of energy of a spiritual nature into the body and bring it up to the head. And a lot of people, they have a lot of awareness to the power of sexual energy getting you to the upper temple of God, the cranium, to open up the third eye and be able to see God directly. So that's what it's for. And I believe that's the foundation of Oracle.
Yes. It's funny how all of our ancient texts have pointed to what you just explained, even the Bible. And so I have run into people that are, they really do, they follow the Bible from letter to letter to chapter, and they don't realize that what I'm explaining to them about my processes is exactly what's written in the ancient text. So it's not evil. It's actually extremely natural. It's a natural, spiritual, human, evolutionary process. And when I've had my kundalinis, I swear my whole body would just be vibrating and feeling like that cosmic, for lack of a better word, cosmic, orgasmic, spiritual, divine party. It was just like a divine celebration.
So basically, Kelly, you get horny once a month and you got to find a way to let it out.
And that's like I
gotta
said, that's
hit
when
it.
you're gonna have more of a
You gotta hit it.
If
yeah,
you
and
haven't
that's
made
the lower chakra, the physical.
Partner, you know, Kundalini away.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I love you,
I've
Teresa.
never heard the word, but I think I have felt that before. So,
Well, now you know.
my sister's in the room, so I don't want to hear that.
It's okay. It's okay. I think all the ladies and people in the chat, our soul family in the chat, can totally relate. So it's absolutely relatable. So, Laurie, have you experienced Kundalini?
That's interesting. Not in the sense that Trina just explained, but in a sense, more of an emotional, mental kind of a thing. I did go through some really physical symptoms. And the best way for me to describe it was very much like a snake shedding their skin. Every area on my body ached. It was almost like flu symptoms without that viral, where you touch your skin and it's sensitive. My scalp itched constantly. My ears felt like I had earmuffs on them for 2, maybe almost 3 weeks. It was pretty intense. And I thought I had the flu, but then after talking to my guide, I quickly realized those were ascension symptoms. So it was my body's physical way of changing and kind of, morphing into who I am today. I'm nothing like I was
That
before.
sounds to me, Laurie, like you had a full total vibrational upgrade. That's powerful. Like,
I think I did.
That changes.
I really think I did.
So, Teresa,
Yeah.
So, Teresa, you're next. Have you experienced things like that?
I'm not telling.
Okay. Well,
no, actually, yes, I have.
Okay.
Twice.
Yeah, I figured everyone
Twice.
here has experienced that kind of feeling, because I think I remember there's some, even the indigenous spoke of how we're moving into this cosmic belt of light, where we will naturally have physical, what they call upgrades, or like Trina was saying, that vibrational upgrade. So it's not unusual that we're all tapping into this. So, but I know that there's people on the outside that would hear this conversation and go, talking about,
crazy. You've lost your mind.
No, you're not crazy. It's actually quite natural. Natural.
I was going to say, the people that don't resonate with it at all, and they're like, "Whoa, you're crazy," they may never experience it because it's not what they're interested in. The people in this community, you guys are some of the most spiritually driven, enlightened people I've come across. Seriously. It's
my
you
God.
guys are
Honestly,
really hard.
The first time, I didn't know what it was, actually, because I didn't have enough knowledge of these types of spiritual things, and I didn't really know what it was. And then somebody explained it to me, so the second time it happened, I knew what it was. Now, so I like JoJo, I don't put into practice a lot of these things. I'm still learning and absorbing it and taking it in. Mine's not so much a physical hands-on tools type of journey yet. I'm just now getting into that. So
I think we're all going to be, getting into deeper and deeper levels of our journey at different times. And so I cannot judge anybody for that at all. So Trina, I have a question for you, hon. Do you have anything you would like to share, like anything that you've been reading lately, or anything you would like to share with us?
Well, if you guys wanted to go into a little bit about the Oversoul construct, I could read you some of the information that I was digging up on that, and it came into a lot of gnosis, and then also too, I don't know if we have time, but we could go into some of that Aquarius stuff. But I thought that this was a beautiful explanation about how I see, like, how everything began. And this is what I've seen so many times. It was, and I'll show y'all. See, it's a point of infinity.
Oh.
Oops, it's all backwards. And then it goes into the other orbs of light. So this is the infinity is like source. And then it's then source births soul cycles. And this is what I've always seen as how it kind of works in the upper realms, because I've always said, I thought soul and spirit were the same thing for a very, very long time. And then I started to realize it through esoteric study. These aren't the same thing. And then I started to understand and grasp the concept of an oversoul. And then I started to digest and understand the concepts of chakras and how the chakras are related to the 5 different energy bodies that we currently have in our physical body. So it's like we're powerful beings, but we're from this point of light. And it's like I was always shown too, they're all equal. They're equally distributed. So you have an oversoul cycle. There you go. And it goes down into the different layers. And those are your soul groups.
Is it fair to say, Trina, that those little circles that stem off of the one, would that be comparable to like all the living matter, because all living matter is consciousness anyway, and that would be the connection between us all, everybody, all life?
Yes.
Is that what?
And when you get down into the separated orbs, this is when you're getting into the oversoul cycles. So when you think about the upper level, you're going to be looking at, this is going to be where you're going to have a lot of your the principles, the principalities.
Trina, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question for you, hon. Is the oversoul the same thing as the higher self?
No. Okay, but I could be wrong on this, but I gotta say no. The higher self is still ego based. It still has form as a human. It still has identity consciousness of the I am. It still has ego. So when you get into oversoul, you're getting more into the higher realms of the unified consciousness. You're losing form. And you're going now more into principles or causalities, which are a direct result of information, cause and effect. So these are like personalities, kind of. So like right now we're leaving Pisces and we're going into Aquarius. These are personalities and they operate very differently. When you look at Pisces and what it does, Pisces says, I believe.
Yeah, they're archetypes.
Aquarius says, I know. So it's
that makes
a personality difference. Yeah, so it's a personality shift too. It's a changing of an age, which is the changing of like an archonic, because it's a source oversoul of consciousness based on principle in an energy like a personality. It has attributes of itself, and that's why it's called Aquarius, and it holds the energies of Aquarius. So when you look at these oversoul concepts as pretty much like direct fractals out of a persona, a personality, a principle, an aspect. Yeah. So this is how I see it. And this book kind of was saying the same thing, and it makes so much sense to me. Because if everything is consciousness in the unified field, that is a statement that we kind of need to look at, because it's almost impossible to grasp until you are in contact with your own soul. Because does the soul have size, shape, or form? Does it hold individuality? Or is it just a tiny blimp floating around in the ocean of pure light or pure consciousness and pure thought? It's not. The unified consciousness field is an extension of Oversoul.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to get a little bit deeper into that here in a little bit, because that's just, we could go for hours on that subject. So let's get, I wanted to first thank Johan for joining us tonight and joining this project with us. And, you know, we really all appreciate your energy here, hun. So I just wanted to stop and thank y'all. And I wanted to also thank Kaz Hawk for showing up, Rainbow Phoenix, Michelle Canafree, Mary Wins, Milky's mom. Let's see, I think Celtic Warrior's in there. Joey, Darth is in the house. I think David Castle was in the house. Let's see. I'm trying to look at the chat here and see who is all in there. All right. Well, if I missed your name, I want to thank you personally for coming on and joining us tonight with our discussion tonight. So we're going to get on to the Friday snippet. So, Laurie, if you would like to go ahead and cue that up.
I can do that. I hope you guys are ready for a good belly laugh, because this is going to be fun.
It's funny.
Bear with me. Doing it a little differently this week, but this should be great. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Cute.
Be playful, be childlike, be to enlighten your load. Be loving, be joyful. This'll activate your genetic code.
Don't tell that crazy bitch I'm hiding in this field out here. She come into that greenhouse this morning and was trying to pick us. All she wants to do is add us to her disgusting sauce. Well, I ain't gonna be nobody's sauce, you hear me? Don't tell her nothing. Shh.
Hi. Just thought you'd like to meet me. I'm another aspect of Theresa. I live in her garden and I protect her vegetables. And I also help her with her plants. I thought it was time to come forth and meet you, Brian. Nice to meet you. Thanks for being so nice to our sister. All us beings, we just love everybody. We're really not evil like they say we are. I'm serious, I'm just messing with you. Try some fractals on this. Bye.
Hi, I'm still hiding.
I never tell any lies, and that's the truth. Well, sorta, kinda the truth.
That's hilarious.
Your multiple personality.
Snapchat, so much fun. Get Snapchat. It's a must. Hey, you guys, take some Snapchats and send them into us.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, if you guys got Snapchat, send them down.
Yeah, I'd be happy to play them.
Yeah, just send them to our email, the Andromeda7portal@gmail.com. If you have a Snapchat, we'll play it. Absolutely. Good idea. Oh, man, that's great.
I love this. She's elf and adorable.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, my gosh. That tickles my belly every time I heard that. I was like, oh my God. The long nose and then that short hair with the teeth.
She reminds me of that little gal on Poltergeist, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going in after her.
Yeah. Don't go into the light.
Peace and serenity in the light.
Oh my gosh.
I said that to Brian when I sent those pictures off to Brian Lunsford. You know, when he did the garden pics, that's when I sent it. Yeah.
We're playful around here, guys. Sometimes we talk about really serious things and deep stuff, and it can pull up things, maybe even trigger each other and things inside of us. It's going to be natural that happens sometimes, and so it's just good to kind of use a little joy and laughter. Laughter is my favorite medicine. So, all right.
Oh yeah.
We hope you guys like that. So let's get on to the round table of the Oversoul a little bit deeper, as Trina was leaving off on that book. And let me ask, let me start with somebody. Hey, Laurie, what has been your experience with, would you please show the Emerson clip, please?
Yeah. Everybody knows who Ralph Waldo Emerson is. He was a lecturist, an essayist, a philosopher, and he was a transcendentalist in the 1800s. So he was doing this before we ever were around. And he says that we live in succession, in division, in parts and particles. Meantime, within man is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty to which every part and particle is equally related, the eternal one. That says a lot. And I mean, this guy was doing this stuff in the 1800s. That's fascinating to me. That people have been experiencing this over and over and over. Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely fascinating. I would have never imagined somebody was thinking that, so that, outside of the constructs of the, rigorous religious beliefs at the time, a lot of people have been persecuted for thinking that way. So what a gem, what a gem to find that down through history. There have been people who, we're called bonkers or crazy, but, really are awesome, and kind of like shining the light down for humanity on that path, that we can all relate to. So let me ask Johan, what has been your experience with your higher self or your oversoul?
Okay, so I actually had never heard the term oversoul mentioned before. I did look it up and learned what you were just sharing regarding Emerson briefly. And okay, so the oversoul is basically like that state of consciousness, that state of awareness that, like Trina was saying, where there is no ego and we're all connected. Exactly. Right. It's all part of one. We're all one, basically. But we're just living in different realities or different levels of understanding, different timelines. But it is all connected. I think nature, being in touch with nature can really help you better connect to your oversoul, which I believe is one person. It's one being or one energy, one source or one God. And then everything else is just kind of broken down in different levels as far as our own spirituality. I think our higher self is another level of that, but it's not. I guess we're teaching we're learning from our higher self, or we're creating our own higher self based on our understanding of the oversoul. It's that's the ascension, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, nailed it. You nailed it.
So when the student is ready, the teacher shows up and you didn't know it was going to be yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Theresa, what has been your experience with this concept?
Well, like Johan, the actual term of the oversoul is what threw me off, because my experience has been about meeting your true self by going deep down inside and exposing all the fragments of your soul. A person's soul gets really fragmented sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care how deep or how... There's different kinds of trauma. There's some really heavy trauma that some of us have been through since early childhood. And then there's ongoing traumas that aren't maybe necessarily as bad. But the end result is the same, in that one's soul fragments inside. And you start working on, you might go to a psychiatrist or you might go get counseling, and you start trying to put those pieces back into a whole. And it's the dark energies that are within the soul, the broken pieces that are floating around in there, that separate you from your higher self. And
those
so
accumulated lifetimes. I'm sorry, accumulated lifetimes. Mm-hmm.
Right, accumulated lifetimes. And so for me, it's about saying, okay, now I have released some dark entities within myself because I let those pieces float around in there because I didn't step up to the plate and admit that those things were really inside of me. I was having PSTD and didn't know what they were. And so I created a fragment of myself. I would call it a dark entity, a person that I didn't like when I looked in the mirror, the person who was mean to people or sarcastic to people or raised her voice at people. It wasn't the nice one that wanted to take care of people and do loving things for people. That was a part of coming back into a whole. So for me, the idea of an oversoul is the completed part of you, who you really truly are as a spirit in this world. Looking down, not looking down, because it's not up there. It's around you. It's the whole you that surrounds you. And so when I was finally able to go down deep and do that inner work and put those pieces back together, those broken pieces into the whole, it was my overself or other self or true self that was hugging me and giving me the strength to make it through the process. So that's how I view the oversoul. That was my concept of it. Now, whether that's right or not, I don't know, but
I thought it was
great. It doesn't have to be right or wrong. Yeah. It's from your perspective, which is neither right nor wrong. It's yours, right. You know. Yeah. So, Trina, what's been your experience with that?
That's very good.
Well, like I said, for me, higher self would be more what Teresa's kind of talking about in my mind's perspective, is that would be my higher self. It still kind of looks like me. It's got both dualities in it, negative and positive poles. It's married, it's unified. Right. It's more, it's a higher self, but it still looks like this. It's still connected to this. To me, the oversoul is literally when you're getting so small and you've dropped all your constructs, where you can literally get through the eye of the needle and you can go back into another oversoul or a higher plane of existence, because you've gotten so small and broken off all those layers of self, which are ego, because the ego identifies me with I. This is what the ego's job is. It keeps you safe. It lets you have identity. So so that's what I see the oversoul is the oversoul is you still have your consciousness, but it's more that you've gone into a higher realm of the unity consciousness, and you're getting ready to probably be birthed into another soul oversoul group and going down again into new layers of consciousness. Like she said, it's ascension, and this literally is what that is to me. So when you make it to the oversoul levels, that's when you're getting ready to go back into the highest level, where you're going to come back out to a new persona, logos, or potential. Okay. So when you look at the unified conscious field as an extension of the oversoul cycle, see, these oversouls are cycles that give birth to our soul groups, and we like birth out of these oversoul cycles in soul groups, and then from the soul groups we further incarnate down. And that's what I think these different layers of self are the part of you that's still connected to those original parts before you came down into the denser realms. Yeah, so that's
really interesting, because I feel like I am just now on my 44 years of journeying in this life, that I finally have reached you guys once again. So it's like it's like that. There's a saying called "Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again," and I feel like I have lived that very phrase out for many, many years, and that kind of goes into the question of, there's this stuff out there about soul trap and don't go into the light. But for me personally, I went to the sun. not the sun in the sky, maybe it is, but it was bigger than that. It was just on this spiritual plane of really literally just dancing one in the sun, completely in these flames that didn't consume me. It was like these flames of warm, powerful love that did just embraced me, and it like made me like it was like a cosmic dance across the sun is the best way I could give you an analogy. And people are like, oh, don't go to that. Well, I did, and it sure felt right. That's where you have to use your discernment. So maybe you don't need to go to the light, but I did. So I'm not going to judge someone for going to the light, because they say go into the dark. Well, then go into the dark. Go where you feel called to go to, because there's been times in my life, the dark was so good, like a warm, dark night blanket of silence. That is so beautiful. But then there's other times I feel called, come dance in the sun. Yeah, come on up. Let's party, So it is like a celebration. It's like in that moment, everything from the past, so-called past, present, and future is all happening all in that one moment. And it was that now. It was like that was the ultimate now moment. And it was like front row seat to the now moment within my own spiritual or soul, or however you want to describe it. But there was a oneness. I still felt my identity to a degree, but I also felt like there were parts of me that weren't there. That was my higher self that connected with what they call the Godhead, or whatever you want to call that. So I've had some pretty powerful, I don't know if it was just a vision or if that was just a real internal spiritual gnosis that was very, very vivid for me. So,
I've got a quick question. Kind of directing this towards Trina. It's my understanding that the sun is the energy where you come from, and it's the energy that you return to. What's your thinking on that?
Man, that's a good question. And I'm still trying to figure that all out on my own too, because, I've seen, like, I've been trying to understand creation for a long time, and I think I have it like as much as I can understand it, to where I have a kind of an understanding how physical matter is formed first through energy, and energy is formed first through sound, and sound is formed first through thought. So I've kind of got the going in my head how it's putting everything together. So okay, ask me, what were you asking me again? I lost my train of thought.
Well, I feel like who we are, the energy that we are, comes from the sun. Then we're born, we come into this existence to learn, grow, to be more than we are. And then as we do that in each lifetime, your body returns to the earth, but your soul returns to the sun, where the ultimate energy is located. That's my thinking.
I could see that, but then when I found out that this is a holographic universe, and it looks like it's 1 billion to 1 chance it's not a holographic universe, which is an electrical universe. So when I think about those concepts now, I think about the sun as potentially being a stargate, and I think about the only way back to the Father is through the sun. I really think that's your own sun, the spark, the particle of God that's literally within you. I think that's the sun that they're speaking of. And that's why Christ says the kingdom of heaven is within you. God is within you. So it's about this sun that is literally inside of you. But the sun, they show me the eye over and over and over again. And what's in the center of an eye? It's a pupil. So I think that the sun might be a stargate, but then I also think that there might be black hole suns that go into different irises, which are different eyes or different consciousness, different personalities. And that might be another one of those paths to ascension. So like I said, I think a lot of us are going to go into different realms in different pathways. So I don't think any of them might be right or wrong. They all might be and is.
They just are.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
interesting too to note that real quick, because I know we need to move on to other things. But the sun touches everything on Earth. It promotes the growth. It creates the living beings as far as the food. The animals need it. We all need it. It touches every part of humanity and every part of the Earth.
Yes.
And there's multiple suns. I mean, there's one way bigger than our little tiny universe.
Different solar systems. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well,
like
maybe
Crystal
I just found
said,
my home. Yeah, maybe I found my home planet, my home sun, my home spiritual sun.
This is our this solar
spiritual.
system. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, maybe that's our mansion that was talked about in the Bible.
Yeah, I think like
mansions.
When things come out of source, they're formless, so we can't conceive of them because it has no form, it has no instructions. So I think when you get an instruction base that comes out of source as a soul cycle construct, that's literally going to birth a cosmos.
Right. Which in turn, new growth, everything starts over.
We go into that.
Infinity.
Yeah.
Yep. We just happen to be in this area of space.
Yeah, they call it the oscillating universe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, ladies, we could go on for another hour about that. There's definitely deeper and deeper levels to it, of course. And again, I want to thank everyone in the chat. Tania Rose, thank you so much. And Julianne Payne and Big Al is in the house. So I just want to give a quick shout out and thank you guys so much. And so I want to get on to the card readings for everyone tonight. I'm real excited about that. So who would like to go first?
I could go. I'm ready for you. Okay, and then I know Theresa's got one she's going to read, but let's see. Let me go ahead and do this. Whoops. There we go. So I'm using the Oracle card Moonology, and I pulled the full moon in Virgo. You are good enough. And it's time to be really honest with yourself and understand what's led you to ask your question. Have you been humble to the point of being self-effacing? Humanity is good, but it can go too far. And drawing this card suggests you may be underrating yourself. You don't have to be flash, just quietly certain that you are good enough. At the other end of the scale, you also need to be honestly answer. You also need to honestly answer this question. Have you been too picky? The full moon in Virgo card needs some truthful answers. Once you've given them it should be easier to answer.
Wow.
So declutter your life, your home, your office. It's time to sort out what's good in your life and what's not serving you. It's also the time to clear out your energies via salt baths, meditation, and to practice getting more grounded by walking barefoot. No matter when you draw this card, it's a reminder that only time is good and a good time to start living a healthier life.
Nice.
It's always a good time to start living a little healthier for sure.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I pulled a card too if you guys want after the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I pulled these are the animal medicine cards. And I pulled
I love those.
I don't know if you can see that or not because of the backdrop here, but it's called the Blue Heron. The Blue Heron card. And it's actually, I've never pulled this one. And not that I've pulled a huge amount of cards, but I've never pulled this one. But it's pretty spot on for tonight. So Blue Heron, thank you, Sacred Waterbird, for sending reflections to me. The mirrors of the quest for life, the worlds that live inside of me. Show me how relationships work, with my path woven within the whole. The lessons of kinship with all of life, reflecting my spirit's eternal goals. And what I got from this was pretty much, Heron medicine is the power of knowing yourself deeply and discovering your internal gifts, your abilities, and your true value. without denying. You do it in such a way. Heron asks you to dive deep. The heron is a water bird, and it goes under the water to the depth. And heron is telling you to dive as deep as you possibly can within your own world of feelings and emotions to seek your own truth. Heron teaches you to develop your self-reflective skills so that you may come to know yourself in a more intimate way, looking at yourself through a filmy lens of self-importance, the cloudy perceptions of low self-worth, or the myopic eyes of self-pity. You will never understand your true potential or appreciate the opportunities that appear unless you do this. So basically, I read on without reading it, the whole book to you. It basically, Heron is calling upon you to not separate yourself. You'll never be whole. You'll never connect with your higher self or your oversoul and put things back together again unless you're willing to dive deep and do the work that's required.
Like Ralph Smart says, diving deep once again, breathing in that good ass prana, baby. That's a great card. Thank you, Theresa.
Yeah.
Trina, you had a card too, hon?
Yeah, it was funny. I was like, oh, I'll just pull, and I did it before we even started, and I had two of them fly out, and it's so funny. It goes in total alignment with what they just spoke about. And the first one that came out was effortless, and it's the nature of grace as effortless ease. It has a natural flow, just as a river flows easily over and around smooth stones, with no need to fight, resist, or remove the obstacles. Are you trying to force or control something? Are you efforting to put a square peg into a round hole? Are you struggling to make things work in a particular way? Just step back, breathe, and open up to a new possibility. Give up the notion that things have to be done in a fixed way and stop efforting. Relax and trust that there is an effortless, guided way, maybe one that you haven't yet thought of. Ask grace, because for it to be revealed, and be willing to be guided effortlessly. And then the next card was rest, and the first thing is it says ask grace. I was like, okay, really? So
Wow.
rest. Yeah. So then rest says grace is inviting you to take time to rest deeply. And this is like the heron. It's saying go in. It's time to go in, guys. Time to dive deep. Your body and being require rest. As you prepare to sleep tonight, choose to read words born from silence, or listen to a calming meditation, a tape or music that gently carries you into the stillness, so that you fall asleep in the nourishing embrace of grace. Before you drop off, consciously release the stress of the day. Take a long, deep breath and another, and breathe in and out, and breathe away all the stress, letting it waft out the door. Take another slow breath, release the tension in your body. Take another slow breath and let go of any questions, letting them dissolve as they drift away. Become aware of the stillness, the present in the space between your breaths. Feel yourself relaxing and expanding into spaciousness as you fall asleep in the deeply healing presence of yourself. You will arise deeply restored.
Oh,
so it's like a surrendering, just a surrendering and letting go. Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of power in that. That's for sure.
So easy. It sounds so easy. Oh, just let go. But there's been instances where I've struggled to let go.
Right. Oh, yeah. How do you let go? I mean, how do you do it? It's simple. You let go. You let go. It's that simple.
Yeah, not always.
Not always.
Yes. But when you do, when you don't think it, you don't overthink it, you just release, surrender, and let go. It can be done, trust me.
I'm a master overthinker. Are you kidding me?
You know what helped
right,
me,
guys.
Crystal? Because I'm an overthinker too.
Mhm.
The thing that helped me with that, it was to go in the space in the middle. So I would go it like it said, the pause and the breath between inhale and exhale. I'd really focus on that stillness. And then I noticed I kind of would start holding my breath a little bit. And that's how I would find my rhythm into stillness. So I don't know if that would help anybody, but that's one of the tricks I used to use.
I definitely have been working with the breath thing and trying to come into like, it's kind of like it goes like this in frequencies and it goes like this. Then I know I can kind of like go from there. I'll have to keep trying. Let's just keep working on it.
Yeah. I'm just saying control your thoughts. When you control your thoughts, then you slow all that down. So it really is a matter of just like buckling down and
I'm getting
that's
better
just
now.
me, you guys. I'm sorry, but that's me. That's how I do it.
I used to be a train kept rolling all night long in my head, and now I'm better. I'm way better than I used to be. I've come a long way, guys. But I know
I was too. Yeah.
You guys know that women can't shut off their brains and men can. Did you know that's a scientifically proven fact?
I can shut my brain off.
Men can still point like relatively easy. I'm like, that is so not fair.
Right.
They can do it way easier than we can. So when you're Crystal, you're saying your mind was like a train. That's absolutely, I think, normal for most women, and it's literally there's science backing this. So for us to slow our mind down is difficult. So know that that's a real challenge, and it's a challenge for 90% of us.
Yeah, it just takes a daily consistent practice. So, oh, guys, hey, there's Julianne Payne, our house word alchemist. I wanted to welcome her. Hi, Julie. Hi, honey. How are you?
Hello.
You look so pretty. Oh, my
Hi, everybody.
You look nice tonight. Very nice.
Aging. How do you do that?
Thank you.
It's all that sunshine.
Just being, yeah. That's it. It's that sunshine. Inside, I just like what Theresa said. It sounded like she was saying here in for heron. So did you hear?
Here in.
So it was here in.
Wow.
We're here and go in.
Very
That's
good.
awesome. I just see every time you speak, there's another level of, that's right. I love you, Jules. I love you. Do you have a poem for us tonight?
Yeah, I certainly do. And this one's called Practice Imagining. Okay. Practice imagining a pretty view. What your real eyes see depends divinely on you. Practice imagining something you adore to eat. What you imagine is a special treat. Practice imagining with the ones you love. All this imagining so below is so above. Practice imagining with those amazing stars. Where your imagination goes is where you truly are. Practice makes perfect, so we practice what we speak. If we imagine beauty everywhere, we're no longer controlled or weak. Make this your world, as it holds the key. Without imagination, where would the world be?
Beautiful. Oh my goodness. I have to agree with Celtic Warrior. You're our hero. You're like our word warrior hero. Heroine. I love it.
She's the word alchemist.
Yes. 100%.
Another thing is what you were talking about is a few of you know the process Julianne's been going on for the last couple of days, and I'd like to thank everyone involved. So this morning after I was with you, Laurie and Al, I went riding and I actually to do with the breath, and my girlfriend has mentioned breath, and that's that hole in the middle like you just said to Trina. Was yesterday I got the Celtic rune, which is Dagaz or whatever, however you pronounce it, which is like the infinity symbol. And you said in that middle point, and that's the breath in that middle point. It's very interesting how the synchronicities have just come into play with what I've just written. Wow. So thank you all.
Here's your rune.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
22, and yesterday, thanks to Trina, on the 20th, it was the 20th, but it was also the 11th. I know it is now in America, but it was 2011-2020, which is 2020, 2222, and that's the number of that rune is 22.
What?
And that's the date of my birthday, the 22nd. So it's all fallen into place.
God.
Synchronicity off the hook. You can't make it up. You can't make this stuff up.
No,
Yep.
you literally cannot make this beautiful thing up. No.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, sure.
I wanted to say, what you're speaking about, Jules, and everything with the topic, the subject, the overall, and the spirituality. When I was thinking about what I thought about it, one of the things was how everything that we go through life, people love to say, let me tell you about something. It was the strangest coincidence, but it's not a coincidence.
No.
And the sooner you start realizing that none of it is coincidental, the more you start realizing just how much of these synchronicities are actually part of the whole spirituality of our lives. And when you start and being woke,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
The 111s and the 222, the 3344555, they come chasing you down. You're like, can we just write it down? And it's like all these numbers. Just say what you mean. It's like, no, we've got to figure it out.
Yeah.
But you know what? I am actually grateful for those synchronicities. It means I'm on the right path for myself personally. So,
it's validation for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, Laurie, do we have that snippet of Big Al saging his truck?
Yes. Yeah, very good that you mentioned that. The saging of the truck. So, Trina, I guess they were in your neck of the woods, and they stopped by and you helped them do some saging. So we've got some video snippet of it for you. So we'll go ahead and play that for you right now.
All right, so we're out here in Peoria, Arizona with Trina and Perry and myself, and we're going to sage the truck, and we're going to use the singing bowl in perfect pitch G, 432 hertz. Are we ready? And why are we doing this?
Clearing.
Yes. And you may proceed. All right, go that way. Yes. Saging the trailer. Take away all the bad. Keep us safe on the road. We have many, many miles to go. And we are invoking our safety. And I believe yes, wonderful. All right, that's it. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Oh my God!
Great.
So that
Yeah,
invokes
that's
a lot
right.
of safety and keeps the negative energy away. Not to mention all of the pyramids and everything that they've got in that truck. So I know he can part
Did you
some
guys
weather
hear?
sometimes. Oh
Yeah, did you hear when I stopped and I had to go back? Did you hear when I hit the bowl? It went ting.
yes.
That's how come I had to go back, because that was where there was some bad energy.
Oh.
The sound will pick it up. Yeah,
Oh.
and you'll hit a wave. And that's why I backed up and I went over and I started hitting it again and again until I could hear that. Couldn't you hear that?
Yes.
Ooh, it was like a constant.
Mhm.
Yeah. When I went by that one part and I hit it, my bowl, it went tink, and it was like the boom went away. I was like, oh my gosh. So I went back and I started doing it again, and then it finally cleared it. But that's why I did that. You can notice if you use tuning forks and stuff, when the energy is out of balance, the sound can't travel. It blocks it.
It's too dense. Yeah, it doesn't travel through the atmosphere. That lets you know that it's not cleared. Huh, that's interesting. Oh,
well, guys,
I
I
like that.
want to say that the energy is real. Energies are real. The frequencies are real. So, everyone that's probably here tonight knows that truth. But if anybody else comes by and goes, "Ooh, what's this Andromeda 7?" and they click on that, no, it's real. You're not going crazy. There is scientific and religious and spiritual backups on telling us this is what this reality is made of. The fabric of our reality of love, vibration, sound, energy, and frequency. So yeah, it's very important to acknowledge that at this time, in this timeline, it's just very important to acknowledge that this is, I think this may be called a truth of realization of what the reality is formed with. But I'm not here to say that anybody's path is right or wrong to anybody. Your path is not right or nor wrong. It is actually just yours.
It's your path. It's unique and individual. Yep.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah. So
Well
we're not
said.
going to judge that. Yeah, we're not here to judge that. And we do hope that you guys enjoyed the show tonight. We appreciate every single one of you. Steve, Slightly Slammed Sleuth showed up. Maya Cato showed up. And Barry Chad, thank you guys so much for coming. And Michelle Cannon-Free, thank you, hun. I appreciate that. If you guys have any, thank you so much. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to say?
No. I think you did a great job, Crystal.
We did good. We did good.
Good job,
Okay.
everybody.
All right.
Can I say
sure.
something? I'd like to thank each and everybody that's come to Earth at this time. I thank you all for your gifts and talents, and get that joy mode going, because you're the one that's shifting the vibration by staying in the space of joy.
That's it.
I got joy in my heart.
Yes.
Have no fear. Don't have any fears about things, and talk it over with your brothers and sisters. That's what we're all here for. Send your questions about things to our Gmail. It's in our links. And also, if you guys have anything you want to showcase, come on and showcase it. And send us links so we can get you into our portal.
Yeah.
Share your links out there to everybody. You know?
No need to fear. The universe is here.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Send us links. And if you have a Snapchat video you'd like to see on the channel and, get us a good chuckle, we'd certainly appreciate that too. So don't forget about that. So just make sure you send all those to us. And I'm here to tell you, everybody, thank you so much. And just honor yourself, love yourself, know yourself, and let that naturally extend out to others as best you can. Thank you so much, you guys. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone. We love
you all.
Bye.
Bye.